Okay, now you can create your Azure Container Registry. So go into your Azure portal, type in Container Registries, click on that. So you can see all your listed container registries. You'll want to create a new one. So first, choose a resource group. In our environment, ours is, we have one for prototypes. Give it a registry name. So I'll use DKDS test. And then for domain name label scope, make that unsecure. And then for pricing plan, you can choose basic. And then create that. Okay, so while this is in progress, once this completes, you'll be using the information from the container registry to fill out the deployment settings in your environment file here. Looks like that completed, so we can go to the resource. All right, so now we have the DKDS test container registry. And then going back to our environment file, again, just as an example, I'm using the .env.example, but you'll want to be filling this out in your actual .environment file. So for the Azure Container Registry, you'll want to get the login server. So you can copy that, paste that in. And then for the Azure Container Registry repo, you can give it a custom name. So I'll be naming it HumAI test. And then next for the remote DB connection string. So for this one, you want to get the actual string from your database settings. So the DB connection string. So you want to get this with the actual variables filled out. So one way to do that is in your terminal, you can type in source.env, and then you can take the string with the variables and then do an echo on that. So echo that. All right, so now we have the actual string with the variables filled out. So copy that. You'll see like the Postgres data user is what we created earlier, HumAI test user with our strong password, and then we have the data host, the port, and the DataDB name here. So we'll go back to the deployment settings, and then we'll paste that in for the remote DB connection string. You can save that. All right, next is you'll navigate to your Docker compose azure.yaml file. So from the repo, that's in Data Recipes AI, and then go to deployment, and then Docker compose Azure. So here, these are the details for when the Docker images are pushed through to the Azure Container Registry. So you want to make sure that these values match your actual container registry. So first is the server image. So here you'll want the Azure Container Registry. So again, you can take this dkds test and then replace that. Do the same for the chat image. And then next you'll also want to replace the repo name. So again, we rename that to HumAI test. So replace that for the repo name. And then you can keep the end as colon server for the server image and then colon chat for the chat image. Make sure to save that. And then next is you'll want to recreate all your containers and images prior to pushing to the container registry. So first, navigate into your Docker desktop. You can select all your containers, stop all of them. Okay, once those are stopped, you can delete. And then next we'll delete the images as well. Okay, so you're starting with a fresh environment. After that, go back into your terminal and basically recreate everything. So Docker compose up the build. All right, so allow that a moment to get rebuilt.